I came across this post by somebody on Twitter by the name of Dead Raya. All right, now let y'all take all that in. So, this isn't the first time, obviously, I've seen this post. And if you're into anime, if you're into manga or any of that type of stuff, then this is not the first rodeo that we've had when it comes to this topic of anime versus manga, and very specifically if anime should follow truthfully to what the source material is, which in this case is the manga. But this could apply to anything, especially with, the whole live action superhero movies coming about. Should those follow 100% truthfully to their comic book counterparts? But that's something for another day. We're focusing on manga and anime right now. And of course, I had to comment and chime in on this and give my 2 cents. And basically, I feel as though, yes, they should. But why? It really shouldn't be that hard to understand. But when I was in the comment section, people were faithfully saying, no, they don't have to. And to a degree, I understand, because much like the mangaka is a creator, the animator is also a creator of sorts. They're just bringing what you have to life. But, it's kind of like when you go to get a tattoo, you give them what you want, but they'll do it in their style. But you're still getting what you want. It's just, it's that artistic twang that they give you, So my 2 cents on this is that I feel as though if I am a creator, and I'm working on my own novel now, and if I'm a creator and if I work my ass off day in and day out, months and sometimes years at a time to just get it created, and then I have to work even harder to get it published just as a book or as a manga, right? So then that means I have to work even harder for that. And then I finally get enough recognition to where a studio looks at my work and says, hey, we see profit in this. You've done X, Y, and Z. We want to be able to, animate your vision and animate your manga or animate your book or comic or whatever. If I've gotten to that point, I want what I work so hard to be a 100% faithful representation of the work that I created. And I don't think that's too much to ask. Now, on the other side of the argument, let's play devil's advocate, argue both halves. The animator sees the material that you give them, and sometimes it may be too edgy, right? Because let's be honest, some mangakas be wilding out with what they put in their manga, but that's a story for another day. But that is one argument that could be made. Another one that could be made is it might not necessarily flow correctly in line with what the route is for the animation. They have to cut some stuff out because it's just not possible to include every piece of detail that every manga has to work with. A lot of the times, what you're getting is not a chapter by chapter animation. What does that mean? That means chapter 1 of the manga is not just going to be episode 1 of the anime. Episode 1 of the anime may include episodes 1 through 4. I'm just spitballing, right? 1 through 4. And because of that, you cannot include every single detail of the chapters. Chapter 1 through 4, that's a lot of information to cram into one 22-minute episode of an anime. So because of that, things have to be cut out. Things have to be changed and it has to be adapted. My issue that I have with that is when they start to deviate heavily from what it is that is the manga, into where you're starting to change plot elements and plot devices. And what makes it even worse is when you change them, it makes the anime worse. And because of this generation of people who do not read manga, I really believe there are more people who watch anime than read manga. When I see these arguments in Facebook group chats, right? When I see these arguments on Twitter, people are saying, oh, that anime is trash. And then my first question, are you just watching the anime or are you reading the manga? And they'll be like, I just watched anime. It makes a series out to be worse than what it is, or just worse in general, and the series could be absolutely amazing. The best example I can give you is One Piece. People say that the One Piece anime is absolute garbage. And I'm like, I got nothing for that. But in the manga community, you're saying that One Piece is trash, but you are literally talking about the reigning undisputed champion of the manga world. 450 million copies sold, been at the top of Shonen Jump and all manga for that matter for the past, 12 years, 8-9 years, something like that. So I can understand anime, if the animation is done poorly, it gives a bad name to the series, and I would just like to avoid that altogether. And I'm just like, go read the manga. Now, this was going to branch off into another discussion: manga versus anime, which is better? And personally, I'm a reader. I have to go with the manga because it is the true vision of the mangaka, of the creator of that series. The true vision, the true storyline, the true artwork. I mean, art is beautiful, right? Animation just is something different about it, but the hand-drawn layout, stencil, whatever you want to call it, that's their true representation. That's who they are. That's their heart and soul put on a piece of paper. Now, anime is a different beast, right? People are like, well, you like manga so much, but how about them fight scenes? Okay, I get it. Obviously, the fight scenes are drawn, but my viewpoint is, and I've had arguments with my friends about this, if the only way a series can survive is based off of their fight scenes, then you do not have a good story. You just have a punching match, okay? And this is how I've looked at all my series that I've watched, and it's a good rule of thumb. If you take the fight scenes out of an anime, or you take the fight scenes out of whatever series you like, can the story hold up against itself? Or is it going to fall and crumble? And if your series that you're thinking of right now falls and crumbles if you remove every fight scene, then it's a terrible series and you don't have a good storyline to it. Point blank, period. A series should be able to hold up its story, its plot, its characters if all the fight scenes are removed. The fight scenes are there to be used as a enhancement to an already good storyline. I should be so entwined to the story when the fight scene finally comes, I should be ready to pow. In terms of manga, you know what I mean? Like, anime gets this part, especially now in this new day and age where anime has seasons, right? They have seasons. You have to wait for those seasons. Now, mangas come out weekly. A manga on average should be like, roughly a year ahead of the anime. Now, because there's seasons, it is very easy for a manga to be 2.5, 3 years if it's a long-running anime, years ahead of the anime. So if you're an anime-only watcher, you better watch yourself around some of these manga readers, because if you piss us off, we'll spoil at least a year and a half's worth of information at you, okay? Don't piss us off. I promise you, I will tell you everything that has happened in My Hero Academia. Is it a year ahead? It might actually be a year ahead. It might actually be a year ahead currently. I will spoil everything. Bakugo, All Might, Midoriya, and the BS that's happened with his quirk. I'm not going to spoil it. Don't worry about it. Black Clover, same thing with Black Clover. One Piece is a little differently because that runs weekly. But nonetheless, I mean, what does anime have over the manga? Nothing. So, I mean, you get openings, endings, but I skip them shits anyway. If I'm binge watching a show, I don't really care for that after I've seen and heard it like 5 times. It's difficult. It's different. And in the past, and if you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you, the anime was just used as a device to promote the sales of the manga. That's all the anime adaptation was used for in the past. Because, I mean, the manga rules. You see what I'm saying? A mangaka is a writer first, right? Kishimoto's not out there animating his own series. Hirokoshi is not animating My Hero Academia, right? So, with anime being used as a device to promote the sales of the manga, you see that nowadays, right? After My Hero Academia got its first season animated, the manga sales went through the roof because now more people are exposed to it. Because what else are you going to buy? I mean, the anime didn't come out on DVD and toy sales were non-existent at the time. The only thing that you could buy was probably posters and, of course, the mangas and the volumes. So, that's really my 2 cents on this whole topic, and I just wanted to put that out there, and I want to hear what y'all have to say about it, because it was something pretty big on Twitter. It's always on Twitter. It's always in Facebook groups that I'm a part of. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you're new, subscribe, rate the video, share the video. It helped me greatly. And like always, keep it safe or wrap it tight. I'm out.